Was Pamela really working alone in Friday the 13th? It's been a pretty common theory that Jason may have assisted Pamela in some way during her murder spree in 1979. But after watching the film recently with you guys on a live stream commentary, I noticed some things that got me thinking and how it contributed to the events that played out. And it all centers around the contents of Pamela's vehicle. In it we see as Pamela picks up a hitchhiking Annie a radio, which doesn't seem like much on its face, but given the circumstances could have meant more than I originally thought prior to rewatching the movie. My theory is that it may have been a possibility that Pamela may have used the radio to contact various people in Crystal Lake to keep an eye on when or if the camp ever reopened, which could explain how Pamela found Annie after being dropped off by the cemetery and hiking her way towards the campgrounds, especially since it's kinda suspicious that the truck driver was intentionally trying to scare Annie away with saying Camp Crystal Lake is jinxed after mere moments of dismissing Crazy Ralph's claims of it having a death curse, seemingly showing both frustration and guilt over what he knows will happen to Annie if he fails to run her off, calling her a dumb kid and a know-it-all. But then after Annie says at least she's not afraid of ghosts, he gives her a look of regret but still continues on, dropping her off and then likely using the radio to tell Pamela about Annie, and which results in Pamela picking Annie up and ultimately her death. My next suspected accomplice is the motorcycle cop. He always seemed to have a weird dislike for the other characters staying at the camp, which I guess could be read as just him being an uptight adult. But I feel like it may have been something more. As he arrives at the camp, we know he's looking for Crazy Ralph. I believe his intentions were to remove Crazy Ralph out of Pamela's way, but failed due to Ralph not meeting any of the other characters until the cop had already left. It was just luck that Ralph left before the cop possibly used his radio to give Pamela the all clear. Another theory may have been that he wasn't a cop at all, and merely a scout for Pamela, arriving at Camp Crystal Lake not only to clear Ralph from the area, but to also see how many people may have been occupying the campgrounds, then feeding the information to Pamela after leaving, which would make sense as to why Pamela revealed herself when she did to Alice. She knew Alice was the only one left. Then there's the body placement around the camp, especially the door pinning with the arrows, which is where a lot of people believe Jason may have been involved himself, but I'm not so sure, especially since if Jason was assisting Pamela, I don't think her vengeance would have spanned over 20 years after killing two counselors that allowed Jason to drown in the first place. I can see any one of the characters, like the cop, the truck driver, or the guy in the diner, possibly assisting her with the bodies, especially when considering the body that gets thrown through the window causing Alice to flee the cabin, as Pamela is just arriving in her vehicle. Although if I were to guess, I'd say the likely suspect is the motorcycle cop, especially with him suspiciously absent from the ending after Alice wakes up in the hospital. But that's my theory. Do you agree? Or do you think Pamela did indeed work alone? Or did I miss any details that suggest maybe she did or didn't? Comment below with your own theories, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe, as well as hitting the notification bell to be alerted whenever a new video is uploaded. And as always, I am JG Dark, and thanks for watching.